said he's gonna start the show.
The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the Panther. That dude Fizz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin, flying around the field, starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. So hot to death, oh yes, these other sports podcasts live as a pro's corpse. Bismarck, you wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the force ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and a view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season if people starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. We got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. We got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat spit. I got what you need.
Oh, I guess I'm gonna be hosting for a second at Start Five Podcast. And I'm here. I had a decent week as the Lisper. And O's here. And the host brother Tyson box. He got the box. And what's up, man?
Good, man. I'm good, man. I see our boy is experiencing technical difficulties this weekend. He on that Netflix type of time, man.
That's the karma, because when I had technical difficulties on my show, he said something about it. Yeah. Now look, that karma come back to get him.
Yeah, word, man. Word, but it's all good, man. We're gonna hold it down. We're gonna hold it down till we get back, man.
I'm trying to my topic was Bronny James, because I always was adamant that this kid shouldn't be in the NBA. I always was adamant that he wasn't that good of a player, and he made it to the NBA, and I ain't mad at him because everybody got to get their money, and he got a $7.9 million deal. I ain't mad at it. Get your money, whatever the case may be. I'm not a hater, but him making storylines is a bit much. That's a bit much. It's like, I don't want Bronny James making storylines, especially when he's not doing nothing to make storylines. Like, they had the internet was blowing up about his first NBA shot. He took 6 shots in 6 games. He made 1. He's got 2 points in his NBA career. We had to succumb to hearing about that.
You know what the problem that I have, man. This is not a Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. story. Okay, this dude is not that good, man. I mean, I get it. The whole, if your father, I get the whole nepotism thing, and they've done it all these years. Why can't we do it? I get it, but he's not really that good. I mean, okay, for him to be drafted 55th in the league, not many players get to ever play picked at 55th. I get it, but like you said, why is this guy headline news? What is that? Oh,
Y'all hear me?
We doing smoke signals? Oh, okay, yeah,
you hear me?
We back.
They're doing smoke signals. Yeah. So all right. You just said that I get it. They've been doing it for years, no problem, right? And that's where I was gonna come in as the advocate of the devil, as I always like to be. If you believe there's a devil and all that bullshit. But anyway, yeah. So why can't we have some black mediocrity for once?
Yeah,
and they put him they put him where he belonged, which was the G League. Most people wanted Bronny in the G League literally like right out the gate. Like don't pass go, don't collect $200. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sorry. This is the King's child. Lil Simba has to come through. Dude, get all the shenanigans out the way, which they did. Got all the shenanigans out the way, and then sent his ass down to the bottom. Because I think even they knew he needed development. I'm sure they probably would have went after somebody else if it wasn't for Senor James. You know what I'm saying? So he's in the G League now. Everybody who he should be happy that y'all should be happy he's in the G League. Tyrone, I know you said why I don't want him making headlines. That's too damn bad. Again, the son of the king. You ain't gotta like it. Just turn the headlines off.
Okay, but here's the other thing, right? So he's in the G League, technically in the G League, because here's the thing: he's a two-way player, and the NBA has two-way players all the time. But they have two-way players that are essentially in the G League and have the right to be brought up because they're still signed with the team. The Lakers are keeping Bronny James on the active roster. He's actually on the active roster as a two-way player, which means he's obligated to the Lakers instead of being obligated to the G League, which means he don't have to travel. He can play in any G League home game, but he don't. If the G League goes to another state, he don't have to go. He's not obligated to play. And so I'm like, so if they wanted him to be getting development and all that, why not let him go with the G League? Why did they made his contract so special that he don't have to travel, so that he's not even going to play half of the G League fucking games?
The travel part is what killed me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yo, like you're giving him this bougie ass treatment of he don't have to go around with everybody else. Like that to me is a little bit of that's a little funky. But if he gets brought up, that don't mean he's coming off the bench at all. They can just need, we have two guys going down. Now we got 10 people on the roster. We need somebody to fill a roster spot. Bronny, you come up and you be the 11th man that don't come off the bench. But I think people are assuming is you're LeBron James's son, he's gonna play. And it don't always work that way. He could just be a roster filler when needed.
He better be that dude in the G League, boy. He better be the first option.
31 minutes, 6 points. 6 points in 31 minutes.
Wow.
He ain't that dude in the G League.
How many assists? Maybe he's the point guard. Maybe he's the point. I'm gonna give him grace, man. Maybe he's the point guard.
6 points, 4 assists, 31 minutes.
And that's it. No rebounds, no steals,
well, I mean,
nothing like no what's the name? Obviously probably no block shots, but what did he look like defensively? What did the off the stat things look like? Because that's the shit that we people as fans forget about. I know, Tyrone, you love the flash, the flare. You love the number racking up. You love to see the shit on paper. But within these sports, there's a lot of things that get done that don't come up in stat sheets. What did he do there?
He looked decent, but I mean, if you want to say he looked decent on defense, he looked decent. He has the ability to stay in front of guys. He did get a block shot. He has the ability to stay in front of guys. He looks decent enough to be a good defender in the G League, but that shit, he don't look decent. I'll give you an example. I hated Doug Christie as an NBA player. And I didn't hate him because of the stat sheet. I hated him because when they played Sacramento, Doug Christie had an ability to play good, decent defense on Kobe. And he put Kobe in a bind a bunch of times. He had Kobe, you know what I mean? He was the reason why Sacramento was in those series, because Kobe couldn't get off on him a lot, and he played good defense, and you can see that, you can understand that. Bronny James is not that defensive player where he can make a name for himself in the NBA playing defense. He's not that dude, man. He's good enough.
Maybe not yet. Like, can he be?
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
He's young, he's fast, he's athletic, he's got an ability to stay in front of people, and he looks like he's dedicated to.
Okay.
He does look like he's dedicated to playing defense. So he could be that dude, but how long did it take to be that dude, though? You see what I'm saying? And the way
It takes development. And see
Right.
the thought to me, the thought process behind like that is again microwaved the microwave society that we live in. The you got drafted, you got selected, you didn't have to wait or go off for like the free agency pickups or nothing like that. Like you got drafted, so you should be an instant success. And the game never always
No,
it didn't always work that way. You know what I'm saying? There
but
there was developmental. Like it makes me immediately think about football. Always everybody thinks, oh, you were drafted first round, you were number one pick, you're a number two pick, yada yada yada. There were times where there were the surefire can't miss number one picks. But then there were the number one picks that you had to develop. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? Or first round picks that you had to develop. You had to allow them to get their reps in
yeah.
practice. You get them some shots in real live time games so they can build their thing. And then by year two, year three, let's see what they got and then run with
No,
it. But
but that's not.
according to you, Lakers are always championship or bust. So Bronny will never have the opportunity to
And that
develop and get better without coming up from the G League, according to a fan like yourself, good brother.
that's
Lakers.
my
So
thing.
that means Lakers should have never drafted him.
And that's
That's
his
my
point.
point. Lakers, the championship or bust. Okay, we don't got time or space to draft a dude like that. That's not going to be able to contribute. And then, okay, he needs development. Okay, he's LeBron's son. We wanted him. He needs development and all that. But y'all give him a G League contract where he only even have to play half of the games. But
let's
he's on the Lakers roster where he's not playing the Lakers game either. So when is he getting his development?
let's also remember that this was the first year that the NBA did NFL style draft special with the whole second round the next day. They did that for Bronny. You know what I'm saying? So that also is more added pressure to this whole situation.
But
And
that's
I'm sorry too.
that's just media talking point pressure.
Well, I'm sorry too,
Mm.
Dan. I have to go against your point of the nepotism thing because it's like this. Yeah, we know that people do it in business, and we've seen it throughout the world, and we know that they've gotten away with it with mediocrity or all that, whatever you want to say. But where did it? I haven't seen it in sports. The worst thing I've seen was Eli Manning forcing his way into New York, and look how that turned out. Eli actually won 2 Super Bowls, and it's looking like a Hall of Fame, even though I think he was pure garbage. But
Wow, disrespect.
he's a Hall of Famer now. So Eli kind of deserves to be there, whereas like Bronny don't. I don't know a circumstance where there was nepotism involved, where a guy in sports where a guy didn't kind of deserve to be there. Not this bad. Eli wasn't good, but Eli, he made good on his promise to be that dude for a little while.
I'm
He
trying to rack my
at least
brain
won a
on
couple of
some
Super Bowls.
names.
He's going
And
to make the Hall of Fame.
I'm trying to rack my name on some. I mean, rack my brain on some names, and the one that I could think of is Rick Barry's sons. They've all had decent and long careers. They all had serviceable careers, but to Tyrone's standards, they didn't have magical Hall of Fame careers. Though one of them won a dunk contest.
I hope we don't lose any. I hope we don't lose any followers, man, for the name I'm about to say. Um, right here, Patrick Ewing Jr. That was a tough one. That was a tough one, boy. I mean, yeah,
Bo
he had big,
Bowl. I don't know
yeah,
where. I don't know if Bo Bowl is still around.
Bo
Is
has
better than his
gotten,
father.
yeah, and Shaq gave him a seal of approval, man. Shaq was like, yo, this kid could be good if he comes to play every night.
Yeah, y'all saying wait. Bo is not in this category of nepotism. He didn't get in because of his dad. He got in because he was big. He taught. He was
No, no,
big
I
in
know. No,
Lincoln.
I just thought of the name of people who
Oh,
had. I didn't say he was a bum. I said no.
oh,
I said Bo was better than his father.
oh
I
yeah,
just what I just
Bo.
kind of mumbled.
I mean,
Bo was better than his father.
when you got a
Michael
guy that's
Jordan's kids. I
tall
don't.
and oh no, but when you got a guy that's tall and lanky and of that size, you got to give him I mean, he deserves an NBA shot if he can do something, at least anything. You know, at least you could think like he could be a shot blocker or something. So I mean, you give a guy of that height a shot.
No, yeah,
You
but you're
know, you
hanging your
give him
hat
a
on that.
shot.
I did say Michael Jordan's kids. I did say Michael Jordan's kids. Who else? There's a bunch of people
You
who
got Scottie Pippen
definitely
Jr.
shouts
Yeah,
out
but it
to
wasn't like
Cayenne following his father's footsteps going to Syracuse.
Yeah,
but I
another
mean, it
big, big,
don't mean
big shoes.
none of those other people meant anything though. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, we hear, okay, Michael Jordan kid might have got a shot somewhere, and or it didn't pan out. That's it. They go away. Rick Barry's kids, we know about them. They played for a little while. We know they had serviceable careers. They went away. It wasn't like no hoopla. You know what I mean? We heard about Eli Manning forcing his way into not wanting to go to the Chargers or whatever, and then it went under the bridge, and Eli ended up being a decent player. You know what I mean? But with this Bronny situation, it's like it should have went away. But after the play and after the G League thing, it should go away. And it's just constantly a story is constantly coming back. And it's like, what are they? I don't know what's the end game with this. Because are the Lakers going to
Well, the
trade him or are the
difference
Lakers going to get rid of him? His
for him
career, where is his career going to
is
go?
the difference in hearing about him is the new media landscape that we're in. And we all have a voice. We all can pick up our phones and hit threads because fuck X. But we can hit threads. We can do solo YouTube shorts about these players. We can do TikToks about these. We can do Instagram reels about these players where, people like us are the new reporters. We don't need to have the big mainstream media that controlled everything and controlled those narratives and stories to where, yeah, now you're going to hear about a person like him more often than not because everybody got an opinion and everybody can speak on it. So that's why we're not going to stop hearing about this shit. Also, too, because this on some America shit. America loves to see people get built up and then torn down.
It's the
Unless the
story,
people that
man.
they're trying to tear down overcome the buildup. So they and the LeBron James hate has been real since he's been in the league because, can't nobody be better than Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody be better than Michael Jordan. So the LeBron James hate is always going to be there. And that's added fuel to the Bronny fan pressure. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's unfortunately it's going to be a story until he's done or until LeBron retires. It's going to be a story. Oh,
So what?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, LeBron James has said it numerous times that he regrets naming his son after him because of all this pressure. I mean, it's it's sad to see, man. But
What?
I was always a firm believer that this dude should have stayed at USC. But it's no backseas. You're out now. You just try to keep your head low, do what you got to do. Don't I think what's pissing off Tyrone is this perceived preferential treatment that he's getting at the G League when you don't even deserve a spot in the G League. You know, and so that's in his eyes, that's what.
and we wouldn't be talking about this if he wasn't a Laker.
Yeah, if he was playing for the T Wolves or playing for the Kings, yeah, it wouldn't even be in the back page.
So why? So so why do it? You know what I'm saying? If you're Bronny James and they say, hey, we're gonna put you back in the G League, but we're gonna make you this, we're gonna leave you on the roster so that you don't have to travel. Why not say no? Why not say, hey, listen, no, I'm dedicated to this. I'm gonna travel with the G League and I'm gonna develop and hopefully I'll get back on the team. Why not just be a man and say, hey, that's what you need to do? Why even you're not obligated to take that deal. Or you can say, hey, I know y'all gave me that deal, but I'm still going to travel. I'm still going to play all my G League games.
Sorry
Why
for
ain't y'all?
technical difficulties. We've been having them all freaking afternoon so far. But to Tyrone's question of why do it, right? It's too late now, nigga.
Yeah,
It's
that's
too
it.
late
That's
No, it's
now.
it.
not
Why
too
do
late.
it? I mean, why did look here goes to your last point too, Tyrone, right? Why do it? Why the press about it? Why the pressure about it? Why are we talking about it?
No, I'm talking about
Not to
Bronny.
shoot it down as a topic because it's a great topic, but it goes into what you were saying before of the, why is he top news? Why did we lead the show off with that? Besides the factor of my connection being fucked up and I couldn't talk to guide the show, but
Because it's
he was
news.
tops. I mean, he's not the main focus of the show today, but he was your lead story. So you kind of
I'm
added
saying
to your own thing.
my thing is why would Bronny take Bronny didn't have to take that, or he could have said, "Hey, I'm still going to travel with the team." This is news because uh Windhorse and a couple of G League players are talking shit about it because people are upset about it and people are saying that he's getting special treatment for it. But he could have nicked that all in the bud. He could have told the G League team and told everybody and probably went on the news and said, "Hey, I know I got this deal, but I'm going with the G League. I'm traveling. I'm playing every G League game. I'm dedicated to this. Blah blah blah." So he's with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
So
And
he
the other thing,
real
Makes you wonder if Windhorse is being bitter because he's no longer in that whole LeBron James camp, whatever. So
Windhorse whole name
he
was
ain't
made
wrong,
off of LeBron James.
correct.
but he ain't wrong.
And now he's being froze out. Now he's no longer part of that. So why throw shade now?
He
But I
ain't
mean,
wrong.
what?
He ain't wrong. It's like he's what is being said, what he's hearing, what's going around.
Well, yeah,
Well, I mean,
And
here's what I mean. If I'm Bronny, look, I'm focused on my craft. Talk to my agents about how my contract was set up.
yes.
if I'm Bronny, if I'm Bronny, I'm going. Hey, can I can y'all trade me? I want to go. I want to be traded because if he gets traded, he can go and he can go into the limelight. He can actually develop. He might can get on a team where because Lakers is championship or bust, bro. So if he goes to a team
Yeah.
that's not championship or bust, they might have some roster space where he can actually get some playing time. He can actually be in the G League properly and develop. He don't have to be under the shadow of his dad. Like he needs to get out of LA.
They're only
Or he could be the next.
championship or bust to you, though.
No, they're
Yeah,
not. The championship or bust to everybody. Every Lakers fan is champion. We don't settle for less, bro. We don't. No.
I
Every
was gonna
Lakers
say.
fan is championship or bust, bro.
I was gonna say if he goes to another team, he may be the next Leangelo Ball. Play a couple of games and then you won't hear from him ever again.
Uh,
So right now he's being protected by being in the Lakers organization. My opinion.
In all them busted years where your Lakers, I mean, after the Shaq Kobe, and then after Kobe Powell and Odom, all of them shit years riding the bottom of the league was still championship or bust to you.
Time out. Listen,
It wasn't
when
it
when
wasn't
Shaq,
developed. It wasn't developed to get back to where we used to be. Those seasons were also championship or bust.
when Shaq left, the Lakers got Kwame Brown, and we were still championship or bust because they told us Kwame Brown was going to be that dude, and Chris Mim and Kwame Brown were going to be a duo center thing, and we
Did
were
you
still
follow
championship
what
or
I
bust.
said though? Because it was after the Kobe
Uh huh.
what's the name, Gasol and Odom trio.
It's
After
all
that, y'all were
Dan. You don't.
shitbags for
You're
years.
not a Lakers fan. You're not a Lakers fan, so you don't understand. We only settle for championships. Okay, those years after Powell and Oldham and those years when they won those championships with 2011, those busted years, we wanted championships. We was championship or bust. They just never.
Everybody, but
They never
you're
brought us.
missing the point though. You're missing the point.
No, I'm
Because
not. It's
every
championship or bust
team
every
is,
year.
you know what I say all the time. You start off the year, it's championship or bust for every team.
No, it's not.
You right
Yes,
or
game
wrong?
one.
Oh, right. Oh.
Game one is
When your
always
Giants
championship.
started 0-0,
Come on.
and when every team in the league starts off the season is championship or bust. you're 2-8, or you're 2-7 now as a Giants fan, then you throw it out the window like fuck it, we ain't gonna see it. But everybody
No,
starts off the season looking for a championship.
no,
That's
no.
the
You don't
reason why you
understand.
play.
No, when you come in with certain personnel, you know for a fact you're not championship team. Everybody knows that. Come on now. When the Lakers came in after Gasol owed them, and after 2011 when Kobe came in with that team with Smush Parker that dumbass team, the Lakers knew they didn't have no championship team. It was still championship or bust for us because we Lakers standards and our Lakers fans still feel that way. But come on now, everybody knew the Lakers wasn't going to the championship.
So even those
You have to
seasons
have
for
certain
you were still
personnel.
championship or bust, even though you busted
Every
early.
season,
That's what I'm
is
saying.
championship or bust for Lakers fan. That's the standard.
But
How? Go ahead,
what's crazy? I'm sitting here listening to you, right? Like, okay, you're from Philly, and I get it, you're not a 76ers fan, and with good reason, you know. Um, but the Lakers, like let you tell, the Lakers is championship bust every year. The Lakers barely make it to the second round every year. I think one year they met the Nuggets in the semifinals, I think, and lost 4-1. But how is it that they get a pass and teams like the Sixers and Doc Rivers, they catch hell. And maybe because it's the 26 rings, the 25 rings, maybe. But I mean, every year, why
Well,
not just tear everything down and just build a solid core like what the
see,
Knicks did.
that's the thing. That's the whole problem there is that the Lakers can't do that. The Lakers always have to. They can't do that because they're the Lakers, bro. They can't tear everything down. The Lakers can't be the worst team in the NBA. They can't do that. Mentally, they can't do that. It's LA. We got the most championships. We championship a bust every year, and they can't do that. They will never try to do that. That's why they gave Kobe that $50 million to stay there, because at least with Kobe on the team, they thought they had at least a chance with a player like Kobe to make the playoffs. And you
but
got to
you have
understand this too. They made the playoffs with terrible teams. They made the playoffs with terrible teams just off of Kobe's back. You know what I'm saying? They brought in Dwight Howard and Steve Nash and tried every year with championship. That's why Dwight Howard ended up there. That's why Steve Nash ended up there. That's why they kept Kobe. That's why they paid Kobe $50 million to stay there every year. So the Lakers are always championship or bust. That's why they try to get championships. That's why they never tear down and rebuild. And you're telling me that when they got LeBron James and they got Anthony Davis on the same team, you're telling me that they weren't, that is not championship or bust with those two guys on the same team? It is every year.
So, but championship or bust. But right now, you would have to say they're what, the fourth, maybe fifth best team in the West.
I'm not saying every year that they're good enough to be championship. I'm just saying that's the mentality of Lakers and Lakers fans.
Yeah, you
That's
guys are
why. That's why
delusional.
I'm saying. That's why Dwight Howard went there. That's why you never question since Kobe and Shaq. Since have you ever, even before Kobe and Shaq, have you ever seen the Lakers actually tear down and rebuild? Ever? Have you ever seen them do that?
No,
No,
not
because
to
they
my
can't.
knowledge.
They won't never do it because they have a championship or bust
So I
mentality.
mean, before Kobe and Shaq, what did they have? They haven't had. They weren't shit until Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, yeah,
What do you
After
mean?
because
They were
Magic,
still
Magic.
down
after
first.
Magic, they weren't shit till Shaq and
Yeah, it was
Kobe.
about 5 years.
Yeah,
Divac,
yeah,
Divac, Divac
yeah.
was there.
But they didn't tear down and rebuild. They still tried. They tried. That's why they made that deal to get Shaq. Because they were trying to still win. They were never like trying to tank or nothing like that. They didn't Lakers never get good guys like top guys in the draft because they never tank. They never have a process. They never have a program. Every year it's like we are trying to win a championship. Okay? And that's what they do. That's why I'm saying every year is championship or bust. The Lakers are not a team that's going to sit there and be the worst team in the NBA. They're not
So,
never going to do that. They're not never going to tear it down. They always want to win championships
so
because that's the standard.
to your point, because I'm gonna throw this up on a TikTok later. Of is the Lakers organization championship a bust to you fans each and every year? So The Lakers then should never draft anybody to develop. So every time, so what you're to your take right now, every time the Lakers draft somebody, they should be drafting a player that's ready to go to assist in winning a championship.
Yes, yes, they should be.
You
Yes, they.
understand how one out of that's the improbability rate on that is very, very high. But
It's bad. But when you set a high standard, well, the Lakers are the standard of the NBA. They're the standard. They're the champ.
Boston might have something to say about that, but
I mean,
okay.
Boston. Fuck, don't even. Why you even going to say anything about them?
And I fucking can't stand Boston. Believe me.
I'm just saying that for Lakers fans, we expect championships because we're used to championships. Because in my whole career watching the Lakers, we've won the most other than them damn Celtics he just talked about. You know what I'm saying? And we've never, and even in down years, we've still managed ways to find championships. After Shaq left, we thought it was over. And somehow they ended up getting Gasol and they ended up getting Bynum to be workable. They got Lamar Odom to play at a high level, and we won 2 more championships. And then after that, Kobe was gone and Kobe retired, and that shit looked like a sinking ship. And then what do? They pulled out a LeBron. They pull out an Anthony Davis because they know they got to get back to championship standard. And they're never down long. And Anthony Davis and LeBron pulled out a championship. Now, mind you, it was the bubble belt, and I don't really, the bubble championship, but they still pulled out a championship. And that's what I'm saying. The Lakers don't have time for a process. They don't have time for development. They don't kind of have time for that. They're within a 5-year span of championships, so.
You know why? You know why that bubble championship counts? Because people for damn sure count against us on that strike shortened season that the Knicks lost that championship.
Yeah.
They damn sure count that against us.
They damn sure do.
I know.
They damn sure do, boy.
I count that against. I always
and it
say
was a gentleman's sweep too.
Because at the time it was Spurs, the Spurs was the Lakers' biggest rivals around that time too. So I'm gonna discredit anything the Spurs was doing. So
you're the only one who thinks a lot of the shit you said today, so it's all good.
I have a right.
It's all good.
I have a right to think it.
But yeah, speaking of, what else did we have before we get to because we didn't have much today, but before we get to the main topic that we're still allowing to load up.
Can we talk about the undercard?
Sure. But before we get to that night though.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Well, I want to talk about this. So
go ahead, Tyrone.
I didn't know if you had a topic, so I was going to bring up the Dame Dash situation.
Go ahead, because I was about to bring some up, but go ahead.
So, when I was coming up in hip hop and around the time with State Property and Jay-Z and Dame Dash and all of that shit, right? Rockefeller and Rockaware and everything that was going on, they were set to take over the world. You know what I mean? It was like Rockefeller was taking over the world. State Property was in Philly. They were running the city. State Property was running Philadelphia. You know what I mean? And Rockaware was popping, and Rockefeller was set to take over the world. And I agree with Dame Dash's sentiment that when Jay-Z started doing the best of both worlds thing with R. Kelly and knowing that he was dating Aaliyah and knowing all the history of R. Kelly, I'm with Dame Dash. Like, that's something you just don't do. And so I knew the dissension was coming because of that, and I felt Dame Dash on that, saying like, why would you mess with Ball? Why would you deal with Ball and all that? All money ain't good money. So I knew the dissension was coming. But for them to fall from the grace that Rockefeller fell from, and for Jay-Z to ascend to Def Jam and do all of that was crazy to me in itself. But now, afterwards, Dame Dash went on this whole Dame Dash redemption tour of I'm a boss, and I've never worked for nobody, and I've always been a boss, and I've always done this, and I've always done that. And then we hearing problems like he don't pay child support. We hearing problems like with his finances and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, I helped make Rockefeller, but since Rockefeller went down, you haven't done anything. You went on a lot of redemption tour. You went on a lot of I'm bossed up tours, but what have you done? I don't hear no record labels. I don't hear nothing going on with him. And now to find out now that the last little bit of shares that he had left in Rockaway have been seized by New York State to be auctioned off to pay this man's taxes. And so now I'm just like, the fall from grace of this man didn't gracefully bow out. He went around talking shit, and it's like, this is a sad day for me. This was sad when I saw that yesterday.
Well, Dame was doing a lot of shit. Dame was doing a lot of shit. It just wasn't forefront shit. You know, like he had different TV contract deals set up. He had, he had different a lot of different things going on. We all heard the story about him and the Lee Daniels and how Lee Daniels owed him money for, startup money type shit. But Dame always had shit going on. It was just he was granted all these interviews to where, yeah, like you said, Tyrone, you felt like he was just out there just talking shit. Y'all forgot when he was promoting his son's cookies and all that. But nah, but to see this, oh no, and then the other point I was gonna make before getting into that was like, the whole thing with the, Jay-Z being I think Jay in that era just the vibe I caught was like, I'm trying to go and y'all are still here trying to be street niggas. And you can't continue to stick around when you get that vibe of like, yo, people around you ain't changing, but you want to change. And it's clear he had all these people who were ready to do deals with him, ready to, help him get to where he's at now. And yeah, though, like I'm a person who like if I'm coming up and am I making it, I want to take my people along with me. But sometimes the people who truly make it also learn not everybody can take the ride with you. And that to me, that's my scope on like the whole Jay-Z aspect of things. But to see Dame get to this level now where he has to, pretty much give up his shares to pay off his taxes. I mean, you could say that's the true death nail to the Rockefeller legacy. Though the Rockefeller legacy uh was remolded and evolved to the Rock Nation, agency. You know, Jay-Z still technically keeps the Rock name alive by just being himself. It's just not the Rock that we grew up off of. It's not the Rock that was just full of like everybody was a spitter type Rockefeller. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what it is. It's Rockefeller now is again Rock Nation. It's an evolution of business. It's Rock Nation sports. It's just not what we grew up on. It's not the Rockaware S. Dot Carter's we grew up on. You know what I'm saying? That was in our 20s no more. So sad to see Dame have to go through this. Yeah. I just want to hear, and I'll throw it to you. But I think my last take on this is I'm waiting for the video of Choke No Joke saying, yeah, this is Jay-Z's fault also.
But I mean, I've listened to what you're saying. I couldn't agree with you more, man. It's Jay evolving. We saw it in our eyes, in front of our eyes, that Jay was evolving, and the people behind him, people with him weren't. You know, with Dame talking about, I remember I seen an interview before Dame talking about, oh yeah, he wasn't. I knew he was changing when he didn't do the pause game no more, and all of that. We seen the interviews at Summer Jam after Mike, after they brought out Mike, and he was calm, and everyone was, oh, da, da, da. And we saw Jay just not, choosing not to say anything during the interview. And you know, with Dame, man, like, okay, years have passed. Okay, you guys, there was a lot of, bad blood or whatever towards the end. But my question is, why, now you decide to go the Jaguar right route, and do all these interviews talking about what happened in the past? I'm like trying to make yourself relevant. That's where I'm like scratching my head, like, okay, why are we doing all these interviews now? You know, talking about trying to shit on Jay and shit on, now don't get me wrong. If Jay was out there doing that Diddy shit or whatever, then okay. But it's it's I don't know. You do are you doing these to try to out your boy or somebody that was your boy, your business partner, or you just trying to stay relevant? That's my question. Where is what's the reason behind all these interviews?
I think a lot of that though, it goes to partially to what I just mentioned. It's the scorn lover, and I'm not calling Dame a lover, but it's that scorn lover who was left behind after the person, the person they were with was like, yo, I can't do this no more because I see myself here, but you're keeping me down here.
Yeah,
And you left me here. But then it's like, yo, let's keep it real. All the years that we heard about Dame Dash, all we've heard was, yo, he was an asshole in the boardrooms. He was, screaming at executives, this, that, and the third. But in some ways he was right, but in many ways it was just like it felt like it shouldn't have happened, and showed himself to be a certain way. And maybe a person like Jay was just like, yo, nah, I can't do business with that no more because that shit
So
don't work. And then
yeah,
especially when you're playing with real big money players and you're looking for my money, but you coming in and yelling and screaming at me,
right.
like I could see us being stuck behind because they could at a flip of a switch saying, nah, you know what? We're good. They don't even have to
so
say fuck you. They could just be like, we're good. You know what I'm saying? So at
so
what point does one person evolve? Yeah, it's cool. Like I wish I had the amount of money to really do a lot of the shit that I would love to do financially to control my own, which I'm sure he probably still even has. I'm sure they got it because once you get to that level of money, there's ways of hiding and stashing money in spots that even the IRS ain't gonna get, which is clear because they're taking stocks instead
Yeah,
of going after a bank account hidden somewhere. And I'm sure he's got plenty of assets that if he wanted to sell, he could be fine. Or plenty of business ventures that he's been behind that he would be fine. He's seeing residuals off of things like that. Like I'm sure he's got a bunch of that somewhere. It's just to this the being forced to get rid of stocks to the state because you owed back probably what was it, state taxes, because it clear
yeah,
if New York State's
yeah,
taking
yeah,
it, it ain't federal, so he probably owed
yeah.
back
New
state
York State.
taxes. It's to what Tyrone kind of alluded to is it feels like the end of an era or an end of the dynasty, which the dynasty died years ago. It's just
yeah.
again something that we grew up on, Tyrone, is being torn down because we didn't know about all the other shenanigans in the background.
My main issue is this, right? I know you can't take everybody with you, right? But Dame was his man. They made money together. They came up together from the bottom. Now you can't sit in those boardrooms with those big guys with that big money and do what Dame was doing. I agree. I agree. But Jay Z knows his man. He knows that's his homie. He knows how to talk to Dame. He knows how to deal with Dame. So when Jay Z got in that position to be the president of Def Jam, which was essentially the boss company of Rockefeller, he didn't have to disband Rockefeller. Dame basically was going around saying that he was kind of running the show anyway. He hired Cameron. He had Cameron and Dipset in the fold. State property was still there. Jay Z basically said that he gave Dame state property. So Dame still had the ability to run the show. So Jay Z could have just said, hey, okay, I'm with Def Jam now. I'm president of Def Jam. I'm not with you guys. I still make my move up top. But let's keep Rockefeller going. Dame, go ahead and run it. And if Dame would have ran it into the ground, that would have been on him. But for Jay Z to say, to kind of like disband it and kind of like just take away the Def Jam deal and do all that when he got to the hot spot, it's like, come on, man, that's dirty. To me, that's dirty. That's like,
But when they split though, they didn't really like they kind of like took their pieces and went their separate ways. That's what they did. It
yeah,
wasn't like a yo, you're still on the Def Jam. It was like, no, like Dame stayed with the Harlem dudes, and Beans, I think Beans went with Dame. Jay took, I think, Freeway with him, and just a couple other small pieces here and there,
And he took
and
Kanye.
that's how they ran.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
And
Jay
that's
took
how they
Jay.
ran. And so you can't put that on Jay for, yo, look, we're separating like this. You got these pieces, I got these pieces. You got Dame, for the era, Dame had some great pieces. Make it happen with them.
I know what you're
Jay-Z's
saying, but
assist, I see what you're saying on Jay-Z's assist could have helped them even further. But nah, you the boss man, right? You cool, you got it like that. Plus, you got Cam, you got Beans on your side. Where did that disconnect happen? Where did the
Yo,
disconnect happen when you had the right pieces in your hands?
what did Jay say when he said they say you said you made Jay, okay, so make another Jay?
Mm-mm.
I understand all that, but I just feel like if my man and I came up, we gets to the top, man. I feel like he don't have to take me with him, but I feel like if he's in position to have me be in a better position, I want that position. It's just like what DMX said. DMX said that he had 5 albums out that made money for Def Jam, and Jay Z became the boss of Def Jam, and he got a call saying they didn't want to move forward with his album after they made a single and shot a video, and he's like, Jay was my man's. Jay is the president, and none of my albums fell. So why all of a sudden is Def Jam not putting my shit out? And that's the same way I feel. Why are you even putting the shit out? What with that too? So I think that I'm saying that Jay a little bit shady in this. I'm not gonna fret. I feel like Jay is a little bit shady in this shit.
Yeah, it was a bad look. I mean, a lot of the artists felt as though, yo, why is my competition now? Why is my competition now running the show at Def Jam? But and also DMX, I mean, DMX only came out with 2, maybe 3 solid albums. I bought that Great Depression, and I was really depressed after listening to that.
I said DMX work after,
But
and I
the
wasn't a
money,
fan of his second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Like, I personally didn't like that album when it
Word?
came
Oh
out.
yeah.
When it came out, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan. But
not
I liked his first for sure, and then I liked the one that came out after, or which was around that Survival of the Illest time of Def Jam. You
Is
remember
that and
them? You
then there
remember
was
them?
X?
Huh?
Is that and then there was X?
Probably, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying, Tyrone, on a level of like loyalty, but there has to be, everything has to evolve. Everything has to grow. And yo, I'm sorry, the same, sometimes the same niggas that you came up with don't change out of being niggas, and you can't
That
hang
part.
around the same shit sometimes. You know what I'm
That part.
saying? You sometimes
and
you can't. And like you keep saying, oh, Dame was Jay's man. When we hear all these stories now, it sounded like they was never truly like peoples like that. Like, they weren't boys. Yeah, they came up together. They made magical things happen together. But it never sounded like they were friends to where you expected them to hang along all this time. You know what I'm saying? You never, like, when you hear certain groups about people who've been friends from the bottom, and then they break up, and then things happen. Like, those are the stories that hurt more to me. The people who lose friendship that they've been down from like 5, 6 years old, second, third grade,
Yeah.
met in junior high school type shit. But when you meet as adults, because it's like, yo, I got my man's over here. Yo, I think you would do well with him. All right, well, let's see how this goes. And they went on a hell of a run. They
then
went on a hell of a run. But that doesn't mean that they was like peoples like that. That's why, like, a Bleak, who's been down since, you don't see him running with Jay as much, but he also capitalized and put himself in positions of relevancy now, where it's not music based, but that man is doing just fine outside of, because he helped himself and put himself in positions. And then yeah, he's been mans with Jay for long enough to where I would expect a Jay to be like, yo, here's the little slight assist here, here's the little slight assist there, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it just it looked to us in one way, but time, new media, the way to get this new information and stuff, we're hearing about it. It's just like, yeah, I don't think they ever truly was people's like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I don't know. Oh, that's how I see it.
Yeah, nah. It's a great point, man. I mean, like you said, if this was something like Cam and Jim Jones or whatever, if we were having this discussion and things went the way they did, we're like, okay, well, we kind of knew they grew up in Harlem together, whatever. But this is more of a business arrangement that evolved in front of our eyes, and we just assumed that they were great friends. We don't know, the whole backstory behind everything.
Son,
You know,
Cam and Mace,
yeah.
we witnessed their fallout live via the culture, but then now they're back together again because it just looked like, you know what? Sometimes, yeah, brothers is gonna go through some shit, but
Hmm.
then the brothers came back together and built a powerhouse that they have together.
Yeah.
That's the difference between being, yo, that's my man's, and like O just said, a business arrangement.
Hmm.
Um, and that's the thing. You kind of made my point a little bit with the whole. I think Dame Dash is salty, and I don't think he's bitter at Jay Z. I think he's kind of salty for his own self because, like I said, Dame's been preaching that ball shit, been preaching that don't have no ball shit, been preaching ownership, been preaching I'm the man, I'm this, I'm this, and I'm that. And like you said, he had Cam, he had Dipset, he had Beanie Siegel, he had most of state property. Like Jay-Z did give him all of those things. And for a better sense of the word, Dame did drop the ball on a lot of that. And
I
then
was, I,
you even said it yourself. He had a lot of shit going on that we don't know about. He had a lot of shit going on, but we don't know about it because it must have been successful. And that TV show, he had that TV deal. He didn't even want to pay the prize out. He
yeah,
fucked that up. You know what I mean? So Dame had a lot of failures, but he went around on this whole tour preaching success and ownership and bossship. And all we see is you failing without Jay Z. And I think that did put a little knife in the gut on Dame. You know what I mean?
yeah. What I mean, you already know. I mean, we seen with this whole Cuff situation. Whatever's done in the dark is going to come out to light, right? I think a lot of what's going on with Dame now maybe is all that shit that we've seen, with the survival of the ills and blacks backstage, where him spazzing on record execs or whatever. Now, nobody want to fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? Now people don't want to mess with him and whatever. And now he's here playing this card like, woe is me. That could be it too. You
And
know.
there's nothing wrong with preaching be your own boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, we live in America where it's these white folks thinks, well, the white the poor ones that fell for Trump's shenanigans, get yourself up by your bootstraps and yada yada yada, don't understand that the get yourself up by your bootstraps process. Sometimes you need a leg up. You know what I'm saying? You need a leg up. You
Mhm.
need that
No,
assist
no,
that
I'm
gives
into
you
that.
the, you know what I'm saying? And maybe like just just said, he probably burnt a lot of those bridges.
Yeah.
I'm more, I'm more of a practice what you preach kind of guy. I'm more of a you can't preach to me bullshit and talk bullshit and you the boss of failing shit. You got to be successful in that shit to talk that shit to me. That's why I don't understand Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey makes all these movies and all these books and all these shows about marriage and about relationships, and he goes on his show every morning telling guys how to behave and how to act. And this man's been divorced all these fucking times. Like you don't even keep your own marriages straight. But yet people eating that shit up. They go watch his movies, they buy his books, fucking books. They listen to his show every day. Steve Harvey telling a man how to be a man, and meanwhile he getting divorced. Meanwhile he got cheating scandals going on and all kinds of shit. And it's
To
just
me,
like,
it goes
what's
along
going
with
on?
people just wanting to believe.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, shame on you for taking any type of relationship advice from Steve Harvey. But whatever. To each his own, I guess.
I mean, though, like we look at I mean, bring it back even old school. Like people were taking hardcore sex advice from a Dr. Ruth.
May she rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And she did have a great show. We all tried to watch it. We all tried to listen to her and shit like that. But like, I never heard of her being married. I never heard of her having an amazing sex life and things like that. But people was sometimes taking her shit as gospel. Think about
Sex
all this is a
psychology.
Sunday, right? This is Sunday, right? This is
Mhm.
think about all them pastors and preachers out there who done fondled little boys,
Oh man.
who done cheated on all their wives, i.e., like a Steve Harvey or whatever, whatever. Banged half the congregation, but I
Hmm.
gotta follow your word because you said you were the prophet of whatever's up there.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Talking about Sister Evelyn's mac and cheese. I need to get some of that Sister Evelyn mac and cheese. Okay.
yeah, you was making mac and cheese, all right. You was making the sounds. I don't know about the dish. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just a thing of like people just wanting to believe and hear that good word, like that. But to be honest with you, though, I was just talking my shit. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with that because you get success stories eventually. You can get a success story out of this shit. I mean, for instance, let me take a shot at myself, right? The Star and Five podcast, we've been 10 years, we'll be 10 years next year. I keep preaching that because guess what? We still haven't stopped. Yet, I was doing panels about content creating, right? I invited a lot of my peoples that are friends and all of that stuff to be a part of said panels. Yet, when I look at the people who I chose to discuss the creation aspect of things, I think there might be only 2 shows that are still going. So maybe y'all could call me a hypocrite on it. If you get what I'm saying. Maybe you could call me a hypocrite on this, but not really. And then you look at the growth. This show hasn't grown much. This is about a little bit of my own self-deprecation and all of this. Like this show hasn't grown much over the years, but it granted us access and things that if being good with people wasn't my thing, maybe we wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to be consistent participants in J1 Con. Shouts out to my good brother Jason Richardson. No J1 Con this year, as y'all seen. It's in a rebuild. But I'm saying maybe like again, just not me being a good person, we might not have gotten certain opportunities. But also I I still help people that want to build their shows. I've helped many people over the years build their shows.
Man.
But then again, a lot of these people either stopped but that's on their own thing because you can give the good word, but what do you put into it after?
Hmm.
How much of work do you do after? You can't always blame the messenger sometimes.
I I I wrote 3 books, and I got my 4th book completed now that I'm about to publish within the next couple of weeks. And I quit writing. I quit writing because you got to work. And writing wasn't paying the bills. I had to go to work and things, and I just kind of gave up on that. Quit writing for a little while. I quit my show a bunch of times. My show only been going on for about 4 years, and I quit my show a bunch of times. I said, man, you know what? It ain't working out. I'm not getting what I want from the show. I'm not getting what I want from the show. And I was thinking as far as business wise. I was thinking as far as money wise. I was thinking as far as becoming something. And then Dan helped me out. told me to keep going. I'm having fun with it. Just do it. And then I realized I'm having fun doing my show, and it's mine. I own it. Nobody can't really. I don't have a boss. Nobody telling me nothing. And somebody at work said Tyrone, it only really takes one. That most of these people get success off of one shot somebody give them. It only takes one. It only takes one person to get one of my books that can put me on. It only takes one person to like my show that can put me on. And so with that mindset, I kind of like fuck it. It's not costing me anything to do the show except a little bit of time, which I ain't doing shit anyway. I mean, right now I'll be watching football instead of being on here with you guys. You know what I'm saying? And even this, who would this just came about from me getting cool with Dan on TikTok and Dan offered me an opportunity to come and do this. You know what I mean? And now look how much fun I had with you guys and how much I enjoy this and this camaraderie and this friendship that we've developed off of this. So yeah, you're right. It's not. It's worth it to give everything a shot if you want to give something a shot. You know.
Yeah, and it's again, it's so it bringing it back to the Dame thing. Like, I'm never mad at the message, even though sometimes you can scrutinize the messenger, but it's still, what do you take from said message?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the messenger in all that positivity, and you watch their moves, and then it's just like, okay, well, maybe I'm not gonna do that negative shit. Kind of like when we discussed our parents and shit like that. Like, sometimes our parents gave us the examples of, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do that because I watched you fuck up as a kid in that.
Mm-hmm.
You still guided me, molded me, made me who I am to a point, but you can still pull the negative and still make out of the negative that you're getting from some of the minimal. It could be the most minimal positive message that they could be giving you, but then you still look at them and be like, okay, yeah, but I seen this shit. Thank you for giving me the blueprint on what not to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at Dame being that kind of messenger. I'm not mad at Steve Harvey being the kind of messenger it is. It's just, what do you choose to take from said messenger?
I'm mad at Steve Harvey. I ain't gonna lie. I'm mad at Steve
Well, and
Harvey.
and then, you know what's funny, and I say that, but then you think about these Trump supporters who, you know, all they wanted to hear was the good and
No,
disregard all the bad. And that's where there's a problem in it to me. When you disregard all the
no.
bad.
You know why I'm really mad at Steve Harvey though? And I think Dan, you can appreciate this, right? You get married, you become a husband, you become a father, you have kids, and you get married, you do all this stuff. And you hear Steve Harvey say, you know, you have a successful marriage by doing this stuff, and this is how you be a man, and this is how you raise kids, and he's giving out all this advice, right? And I'm sitting at home and going, man, you know, sometimes my shit is fucked up, and I'm doing all this shit. Like this is shit that I'm doing. And, you know, I'm practicing some of the things that Steve Harvey is saying, and that shit sometimes still ain't working. And then I'm like, well, you know, I'm doing the things that this man is saying. I know about the stuff that he's saying. He's making a ton of money saying it. And here I am, a man practicing it, which, and I can't make no money. Nobody's gonna listen to me, but they listening to this dude. And then you hear he got divorced, and it's just like, oh, so your shit didn't work? And then next
Tyrone, and
year he
that's
gets remarried,
that's
and the
the
shit's rotating. It
and
pissed me
that's the
off, bro.
and that's the perfect reason why sometimes the message is okay, but you can't listen to the messenger because
Yeah.
happy once again, happy anniversary to my wife. We just celebrated 16 years of marriage yesterday out of the 22 years together.
That's
And
what's up.
I could probably
Congratulations.
sit there and tell you I ain't do nothing of what any of these air quote relationship experts have ever said. I'm a fuck up. But like I've said before in this show, I fuck up in certain areas, but I know where I'm strong at to keep the relationship fine. My wife knows where she's wrong strong at to keep the relationship fine. And it's a matter of merging all the strong points together to build your own shit.
Man.
Because yeah, sometimes you can find your story in somebody else's message, which I have no problem with. That's why I'm not against sharing my story in certain things, because sometimes you can find your way out through somebody else's story. But definitely in this relationship shit, yeah, it's hard to listen to other people who who've clearly been through multiple marriages, who clearly been through yeah, I ain't married nobody. I just date and bounce from chick to chick to chick, or man to man to man to man to man to man. But I gotta listen to you on how to maintain a no. When
And
my
and
shit's
and,
lasted and survived longer than yours ever would be, no.
and and how did you do that though? See, because the thing is, my thing is this: common sense man shit is common sense man shit. If you got a wife and kids, you know you gotta go to work. You live with a woman, you know you a man, you know you can't put your hands on her. You know if you want a wife, kids, successful career, whatever, you can't be a drug addict. You know what I mean? Like these is common shit, common knowledge, common things that you know as a man that you got to do in order if you want to be a husband, if you want to be a father, all that stuff, right? So for me to see Steve Harvey saying this, oh, make sure you got a job, make sure you work, make sure you don't put your hands on your wife, make sure you don't get involved in too much drugs and alcohol, make sure you teach your children all that. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. But to see him get rich off it and me sitting here fucking struggling, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like he's just saying comment. It's not that he experienced it. It's not that he knows what he's talking about. He's giving out like common knowledge of how to be a husband, and people was eating it up.
But it's because the person who looks the most successful is going to have the larger audience, henceforth why they're going to have more people listening to what they say than not. Which that's going to be another conversation for another day, and it's a part of something that I've been writing is the conversation surrounding, especially like this podcast game and media game, and how the money, though it's been great for some, it's fucked up the game for a lot of people. And this is why I appreciate also the level of new media we're in when it comes to the podcasting thing, because yeah, everybody has a voice. Everybody can express their opinions, their thoughts towards situations, and we don't have to be force fed by the person who was deemed worthy because they've made a lot of money or put themselves in a position to make a lot of money because of the gravitational pull of an audience that they get. You know what I'm saying? So, but whatever when it comes to all of that. We'll talk about more of that on another day. Um Now let's get to these cards, because last night was the UFC fight. I didn't see it, but when I decided to search to see who won, now I'm mad that I searched to see who won, because I I wanted to hear that John Jones won that fight last night. But then to see that motherfucker in Madison Square Garden, then give Trump his belt, and then like damn near like bow down and praise that man in that shit. I was like, yeah, you know what? Now it's time to watch John Jones. If he ever fights again, now it's time to watch John Jones fight to lose. Kind of like the fight we're gonna get to. But yeah, I want to see that man lose from here on out. Now to be out there praising this motherfucker, this guy that don't this guy who again who's setting up his white supremacist army to run the government from here on out. Like, to see that, man, it really disgusted me, Tyrone. I'm sorry.
I can't. I mean, I can't judge people for who they support or who they like to do. I just say like even just like read the room. At least read the room. You know what I mean? At least read the room. Yeah, you want to be a Trump supporter. Yeah, you love Donald Trump, whatever. But read the room, man. He just won the presidency. You know that your people are upset, and you know it's just inappropriate. You know what I
But
mean? You can speak
but
for who you want.
Tyrone, read the room. The UFC crowd is a Trump crowd. So he read that room.
But
Oh,
I'm
you must
talking
be
about
talking about
our
Dana White.
room. I'm talking about our room. I ain't talking about. I'm talking about read the room of your people, man. I don't give a fuck about that UFC crowd. He made his money there. He don't have to cater to the UFC fans or the UFC crowd. He's John Jones. He's made his money. He's the biggest star. He don't have to cater to nobody. It doesn't change his purse. Doesn't change his lifestyle. Doesn't change anything. What it does change is your opinion of you with your own people. Like you're a black man in a prominent position of money and power and everything in this nation, and you see what's going on with the world. You see what Trump is saying. You see how the support goes and all that. Why are you catering? Even if you're catering to UFC, why are you catering to them? You're going to make your money regardless. They should be catering to you. You're their cash cow. So to be out there with Trump and be blasting it right there in that situation with what's going on with our country, dude. Like I'm not knocking him for his support. I'm just saying, bro, that's a bad look. And you said it yourself. You was rooting for this man to win, and now today, after that, you're rooting for this man to lose. And he's got to understand that, dude. Like that's a bad read. Just don't do it. You can support Trump like on your own time, but to do that publicly like that, it's like you slapping your people in their face, right in front of their face. Bro.
Oh, did you see the shenanigans?
I
With
did
this
not.
nigga pretty much praised and bowed down to this man and fucking handed him his belt after.
Wow. Wow. No, I didn't see that.
Well,
Damn.
I had to Google it because, like I said, I didn't watch the fight. I don't buy UFC, but I had to go. Like I said, I was just looking to see. All right, did John Jones win? All right, cool. Yeah, black man is the best heavyweight ever in that fighting game. And then to see that shit was just like it was disgusting to me. And it
It
was
was
to
definitely
what
cringy.
Tyrone said. It was a read the room. But most of the people who are like that, they don't give a fuck about what they people think.
It's you kind of like I guess it's to the same effect as Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. You know, shucking and driving in front of the cameras. I man, I'm here on YouTube and it's like, damn, I don't even want to watch it now. Y'all just say that shit. So I mean, damn. Yeah, like you said, man, read the room. You know, your fans, most of your fans are not Trump supporters. You know, is it do we put that on CTE? I mean, that's becoming a lazy argument now. Every dumb shit these people do, we want to put it on CTE. You know, is it money?
It's definitely not money. You know, he's the biggest star. He's made his money, and he's going to make his money because of his name. So, like I said, he don't have to cater to anybody. So for him to do that is just a bad move.
I just can't wait till these coons really start figuring it out and finding out.
Who want? Here's the
I
thing.
really can't wait. I really can't wait till these coons start really figuring it out, finding it out. Yo, and again, look at all these black politicians who was shucking and jiving and dancing for chicken for this man, and not one of them got tapped on the shoulder yet for anything.
Yeah,
This man has been helping fucking people who should be registered sex offenders. Matt Gates, Attorney General. He just took a guy who was a former military guy, but a Fox News analyst, and making him the Secretary of Defense.
Here's
White
my thing, dude. When
nationalist type
you
shit. Like what is going on with y'all? But y'all are
that's
cool
what
with this.
that's what I hate. When you reach a certain level of status as a black man in this country, like even if you got there by cooning, you can stop. You know what I mean? Like you can stop. Once
can't
you
stop,
get
won't
to a
stop.
certain point, okay, yeah, I understand. I might do some coon shit to get there, but once you get there, dude, you can chill. You ain't got to coon no more. You know what I mean?
You know what, Tyrone? I mean, I think what you're trying to say, what we're all trying to say, is that you being a black person, you being a black man, you know that you're a celebrity, whether it's A, B, C, list celebrity. You have a level of responsibility that you have to maintain when you do certain things. You doing what you did, for Trump and post fight is crazy because end of the day, you have people that are watching you that want to emulate you, all these things, and maybe they just don't care. Maybe they don't give a shit. I don't know. you know. But it's I don't know, man. Even me, even with me with this show, I try to once that live button hits, you don't want to you don't want to be too out there because you know that people are watching. There's a level of responsibility.
Fuck that, because this is our safe space. It's like shouts out to my homie Ian, who I seen on the route the other day. He was like, "Yo, I was watching your podcast." I was like, "Which one?" And, and he was like, "Your show." He was like, "I was like, which one? The one last week?" He was like, "Yeah, I did. Y'all talk about politics." And I was like, "Oh, the one where I fucking snapped." And he was just like, "Yeah, that one. You was wilding a bit." But then I had to turn her and be like, "Nah, I was wilding maybe." But I was like, "Nah," because it was all justified. And then I turned to my man Aaron, shouts out to my brother Aaron, who I looked at him and I was just like, now, did you see why I said to you I felt the way I did after that election result? Because remember your post on Facebook talking about how some dude or out here in the Alabama to the north, Staten Island, some dude riding by and looking at him talking about, yeah, we taking our country back or whatever, whatever. Now do you understand why I was acting the way I was? And he looked at me and was just like, you were right.
But Dan, that's
Because I
different,
fucking snapped on some real shit that can affect my family. This is
right?
our safe space to let that shit out.
That's different. That's different because what you're preaching is 2 plus 2 is 4. It's
Right.
facts. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to preach. We're not spitting no rhetoric. We're not. It's not Fox News. You know what I'm saying? We are preaching. Okay, if it rains outside, you're going to, and you don't bring an umbrella, you're gonna get wet. That's what we're preaching. And that's what it's facts. We're not. It's no opinionated shit. I mean, yeah, it is. A lot of our stuff is opinionated, yes. But when it comes to something like with this politics shit, with real life shit, it's you have to be careful. You have to be careful of what you're putting out there. That's what I'm saying. If we're talking
Oh,
facts, if we're talking facts,
If we were in a political game, which is a game, I would get that. But also too, even if you're in said game, what you feel is your truth should never have to be, you should never have to tippy toe around it. You know what I'm saying? Like you should never have
I,
to. You should be able to let it loose. Go ahead, Tyrone.
I get what O's saying a little bit because like my my show is I'm way more animated on my shit than I am here. Okay, so you can
get out of
imagine
here.
that, right? So imagine that. So, so I use a lot of foul language, and I say bitch a lot. Like bitch is a term like I use, but I grew up on bitch. Like I grew up on that. That's how I talk, right? But there are times when I do put disclaimers out. There are times when I might say bitch, and I have to tell people like I'm not saying bitch. I'm not calling a woman a bitch like in a derogatory manner. Don't know her. It's just my figure of speech. And I have to say sometimes, I got a daughter, I got a wife. I'm not telling you guys to be disrespectful to women. I'm not calling women bitches to their face or nothing like that. It's just a word that I use sometimes. And I slip up sometimes. I don't even mean to say it. Like sometimes I'll be like, let me tell you what this bitch said. And I don't mean to say it. So sometimes I do have to reel it in. And I do have to be like, yo, listen, I'm not out here calling women bitches to their face. You know what I'm saying? Like,
To their
so I get
face.
what you're saying. Like sometimes I have to catch myself and say, "Hey, wait a minute. I don't want people to think that I'm out here disrespecting women like that." You know what I mean? So there are
Well,
certain things
I
I say that sometimes I have to reel myself back in.
I agree with O2, but I also reiterate that this has been in millennial Gen Z terms, this podcast has always been the safe space to say exactly what the fuck you want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about monetization on the tube because we don't have monetization numbers. And
Not yet.
will they mute shit, things like that? Yeah, but even if we did have monetization numbers, still say what the fuck you mean if you feel that way. Yeah, I mean, there's been many a times where y'all wouldn't have known I kind of edited myself and tempered shit down. You know what I'm saying? But just anybody who's a guest, even when you disagree with us, it's okay to be on this show disagreeing with us. It's all right because we here to talk. We here to discuss shit like men and women. We're here to discuss shit like adults. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but okay. If you feel, because I'm trying to compare it to Fox and all that, all those other bullshit shows,
I see that. I
networks.
see what you're saying there.
And if you feel as though that in your heart that what you're spewing is, for lack of a better word, is the truth, and not these alternative facts, and you're not trying to build an audience, or you're not trying to build to some base or whatever, then by all means, say what you have to say. But if you have an ulterior motive of, you're just trying to stir a fucking stir the pot or whatever, then you have to. And that's what I feel that these Antonio Browns and Le'Veon Bells and Dennis Quaid, for maybe all these guys are doing. You know that's the difference between us and them. That's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's a big difference. It's a huge difference, and I say because, like you said before, we may say shit out of rage, but sometimes it's a fact that people don't want to see
Yeah,
or people don't want to hear or not. It's not an Alex Jones, if you want to say, which at one time, like there was a time where Alex Jones, hate him, he was spitting some facts when you do the research behind the bullshit what people perceived was bullshit that he was saying until he got to that fucking lizard people, and then he went off the rails. But shouts out, I only mention him. Shouts out to the Onion
I was
for
gonna say.
obtaining all of his shit because the motherfucker spread so many lies throughout his years that it costed him, and it costed him dearly. That's exactly what how O is talking about. You
Yes.
can't be like that guy who's been spitting lie after lie after lie after lie after lie.
To the point where satire newspaper now done bought all your shit.
You know what I'm saying? But what's not satire was that travesty of a fucking event that we saw Friday night. Now, I hopped on late because I wasn't interested in most of the undercard shit. But I one thing I will do before we get into, because I know one of the main undercards we really want to talk about. What the one thing I will do is I'm giving Jake Paul props. And I'm giving this team behind him props because hate him. Yeah, it's changing that game. Now, is he changing the true sport of boxing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's doing the definition of what they thought Mike Tyson used to do in quote unquote fighting tomato cans. He's fighting people who were names who are now shells of themselves. You know what I'm saying? But the aspect of the doing it your way, pulling 60 plus million people onto the Netflix server that had everybody shit like the red ring of death that you see if you can see the background of this show, everybody shit was loading forever for like rounds of that fight. You know what I'm saying? But he put Netflix in a position where their servers couldn't handle it. Sold out Jerry World, damn near. Like I had you gotta give the kid and his team props for putting an event like that together, y'all. You gotta. It was all off of hype and only hype as we seen what the outcome and the results and the happenings within the main event was, but it was all hype. But I appreciate the fact that he also mentioned, like, I want to help the women's boxing game. which he highlighted with the co-main event, which I'm sure that's exactly where we were going to start, Tyrone.
Yeah, I watched the. I didn't have the Netflix issues that everybody else had. I didn't. My thing didn't load up. The only thing that happened was it digitized a lot, so it got blurry at times and came back in. But the loading was fine. I watched everything fine. Yeah, I was more focused on going in on the pre-fight because I didn't think that. I told y'all that I thought Jake Paul was just going to beat Mike up. I really did think that. I was like, Mike don't have the stamina. Mike ain't gonna be able to keep up with this kid. But the pre-fight's what I wanted for because I know Katie Holmes, and I know Barrios. They're not prominent guys. I mean, they won championships, but they're not prominent guys. Katie Holmes won a bunch of championships, but she won't fight for Rest of Shields or whatever. But ain't whatever it is. But I wanted two there to see those fights, and Barrios and Ramos put on a decent fight, and it was
That was a good fight.
Ramos got knocked down. I thought he was done, and then he came back and was Barrios up, and it was a good fight. I don't like the split decision draw. Was kind of stupid to me because the numbers weren't close on either side. So it's like one judge had him destroying him, and the other judge had the other guy destroying the other guy. So the numbers didn't match up for me with the judging. So that's why I didn't like the decision. But a draw is what I wanted that fight to be because they both deserve to win, in my theory. And then I saw I don't want to say that it's white privilege. I don't want to say that it's racist. I don't want to say those bad things. But for Katie Holmes, not Katie Holmes, for Katie Taylor to get the decision in that fight after what she did with the headbutting, and whether it's an intentional or not, it's still the headbutt was a difference in that fight. And for her to headbutt Serrano like that and to have that cut be like that, and for the medical team to let her continue to fight, and for her to actually beat that woman the way she beat her, even despite the headbutts and despite the cut, for them to take that win away from her was like one of the most egregious things I've ever seen in boxing.
Yeah, I saw those headbutts, and there were times like the main one was the cut that busted her open. They both kind of was. They both were kind of doing it like giving it back to each other in some sort of a way. But Taylor definitely was. She was getting her head low in there, and it did feel like a lead with the head first type situation. And Serrano, like, I mean, it was tough because I think I picked up the fight in like the fifth round, and they both looked like they were just still standing toe to toe and then just giving it to each other. Like the one thing I could say about that fight as a whole, because I really wasn't mad at the decision because I didn't see it from round one. That fight was what most the casual fans when it comes to boxing wanted to see and want out of their boxing. They want that we both got one foot in the tire and that up close slugfest. And that's what they delivered in that fight. That's exactly what they delivered in that fight was just it was a slugfest, which again to help the women's game give them a little bit more shine, like that was a great look. Bad look because of the outcome, but great look because of the performance that those two women put on. Oh,
Yeah, it was exciting in that respect. Um, the ref to me, I watched the whole thing in its entirety. The ref to me tried to get a hold of take control of the fight way too late because she was this woman was headbutting from the beginning, and once that flap, because it was a flap that opened up. Once that flap opened up and they allowed the fight to keep going. First, the fight should have never kept going after that, because it was just too. The shit was. It was like we were in a butcher shop. That's what this shit was looking like,
the
and
straight
Serrano,
fillet cuts. It looked like
yeah,
filleted fucking chicken.
so like yeah, and Serrano was, she was still step back, give her 1-2s or whatever. But this woman Taylor was leading with her head, and it's crazy because they interviewed Serrano's trainer in between rounds, and she was like, "Yo," he was like, "Yo, we know that this is what she does. She does this all the time." So that shows that the ref didn't know, didn't either a he didn't do his homework, or b he was just like, I don't want to get in between, I don't want to break shit up or whatever, because they're women or whatever the case is. I don't know, but the ref did not take control of this fight early at all, and he let a lot of headbutts go before um before he tried to take control of the fight. It shouldn't have been a and be honest with you, my opinion, minus all the headbutts, she lost that fight. Serrano was given much more cleaner shots, to Taylor um throughout the duration of the fight. So I don't know, man. I mean, I was disappointed all the way around. You know.
Yeah, I'm glad you said interview during the rounds because I was like at the end of the fight, like yo, her trainer damn near just took the mic from the dude, took the mic from Ariel Hawani and started talking
Mhm.
like he wasn't even trying to go to you. He was trying to go to the next person, and you was just like, nah, get over here. And I like that he gave her props, like yo, she's a beautiful person, great person outside of this ring, but inside this ring everybody knows the
Yeah,
last fight that she cut somebody was because of her freaking big ass head. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, like they knew the game ahead of time, and it was just like the only time that Serrano ever got cut was only by her because of the headbutts. Maybe there's a strategy behind the cornrows too. Like
Mm.
the cornrows was like razor blades.
But then, um, your perspective on like what you saw about them two just giving it up to each other and being entertained, it wasn't that for me. For me, it was Serrano was boxing, controlling the pace, controlling
Yeah,
the fight, hitting her with good shots. And Katie just was strong enough to take what she gave. And then there were instances where Katie was just flaring for life. She was just trying to survive and flaring. I didn't see any real. Serrano was controlling the fight, controlling the pace, hitting her with the cleaner shots, actually trying to box her. And Katie was trying to turn it into a brawl because she knew she was getting outboxed. So what you saw in them going toe to toe was just Katie getting outboxed and just saying, "I'm gonna just throw some shots out there." And so that's where I feel like Serrano controlled the fight. She got the cleaner shots off. She actually was boxing, and I like most of Katie's shit. Looked to me desperation.
Tyrone. I would have been pissed off. I would have been pissed if they called this a draw. That's how egregious I saw that decision was. Because it wasn't even a draw. You know.
I didn't think it was close
Yeah.
on Taylor's side. So for Taylor to win was just I didn't understand that at all. What I didn't see what the judges saw, and I don't know if they were influenced by the cut. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you see a person beat up, that influences you a little bit. I don't know, but I cannot think of how there weren't even any close rounds as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I thought it was a clean sweep fight.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, I could dig it. I guess that would be the only fight I would have to go back and watch from the beginning to get the full, like I said, the full grasp and aspect of everything in the fight. But like I said, where I started the fight, which is like I said, roughly around like the fifth round or so. Like the only description I tried to give Tyrone was again, it looked like the brawling that people want to see out of boxing. It people want to see just them live rounds being thrown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They want to see brawl. A lot of people when they find a fight boring is because somebody is getting outboxed. Like for instance, and I don't want to stick on this for too long, but like was in a live this week before the fight and I I had to give up the props that I eventually learned to give for Floyd Mayweather. Did I say he was a person who ducked and cherry picked? Absolutely. things like that. But the man is the best of his generation. And if you're not a boxing purist, you're not going to see what you think you want to see out of him.
Mm.
And you're going to get a boxing clinic on that out of him, because the name of the game is to hit and not get hit. And it's to hit and score points, because it's boxing is it's I said like this, boxing is a sport like every other sport. You got to score points. You still got to score
It's not.
points.
Mhm.
You still got to score points. And Floyd Mayweather did it better than everybody in his generation.
Here's the real problem with Floyd that people don't get, and I don't know why people don't get it. Floyd is not the problem in those boxing matches. It's not him. It's the opponent. He takes them out of their game, and they don't do what they normally do. Floyd
That's
does the same shit he always does in every fight.
But that's the
The reason
part
why
of
the
his
first one fight was
mastery,
that,
Tyrone. But that's the
yeah,
what I'm saying is that's a part of its mastery
but here,
to why his fights look boring.
but no, but here's the problem. They don't look boring because of Floyd. They look boring because of what we expect other people to do. Because if you watch his fight with Zab Judah, that went in on Floyd. Okay, he didn't let Floyd dictate nothing. He went in on Floyd. He was beating Floyd up, and then Floyd had to actually box him. And then we saw what happened. Floyd destroyed Jab at the end of that fight because Jab forced Floyd to fight, and when you force Floyd to fight, Floyd can fight. Look at Cotto. Cotto was beating Floyd up too, forced Floyd to get in the paint. Floyd got in the paint on Cotto's ass and destroyed him later on in that fight in the late rounds. So we know that Floyd has the ability to fight, but if you don't force that man to fight, then then that's
So you
what it
just
is.
said so
Canelo got
you
there
just
looking.
agreed with me via your examples, because all I
Yeah,
said was is the man puts on a fucking clinic on how to fight and how to
no,
box.
yeah, but what I'm saying is like it's not boring to me. Like a real
Because
boxing
you're a
person,
boxing purist. I said the
right?
casuals.
Okay, but here's my thing too. The
You're trying to
casual
find
fans.
ways to disagree with me.
No, no, no.
Stop
I'm
it.
not trying to find ways to
You're
disagree
fishing.
with you. No, I'm not fishing for a way to disagree with you. What I'm saying to you is the casual fan watches those fights. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that the casual fan watches those fights and they blame Floyd. And Floyd is not the problem. The
Right,
problem is
right.
not
I
Floyd. The
understand.
problem is, that's what I'm saying. That's the only point I'm making. Is the problem is the
But
other
but
people.
But all right. So you'll be the middle of this, right?
I'm not
Floyd, you
disagreeing
can
with
the
him.
one.
I'm just
Hold
making a
on.
different point.
The perspective is from Tyrone is Floyd's not the problem, but I will pose it to you. If you look at it the flip side, you can say Floyd is the problem because he is so damn good that it goes to what Tyrone just said. He takes you out your game and then just outscores you.
I
So
think I
you
think
can look at it in both. All I'm saying is you can look at it in both ways. He's not the problem because the opponent comes in trying to do one thing, gets taken out their game. So it's the opponent's fault. But if Floyd's presence wasn't there to take that person out their game and do his job, it's his fault also because he did what he was supposed to do.
I think what both of you guys haven't mentioned yet. To the casual fan, a casual fan, they want to see a knockout. You know what I'm
That
saying?
part, that
And
part.
so Floyd ain't gonna since he
I'm
messed
looking
up
for
his
you.
hand, you're not gonna get that from him. You know, and us being fans, we like seeing the stick and move, the pop and then get out the way or whatever. And Floyd rarely gives that. He rarely gives combos. You know what I'm saying? When he fought in his later years. So yeah, I mean, the casual fans they want to see the knockout. They want to see somebody go down or whatever. And Floyd wasn't giving you that. You know.
Right. He was giving you a clinic on how to hit and
Yeah.
not get hit.
And how to hit and not get hit. Right. The sweet science.
It's
That's what he
like
was
that,
getting with Floyd.
and that's what the casuals don't get the science. Well, there is a science to it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
The
but also,
casuals will never get it because they would want to see what this woman did against Serrano. They want to see that put one foot in that tire and throw them
Yeah.
body shots, throw them head shots, and see who stands up or falls after.
But you gotta also understand too that Floyd not knocking people out is also not Floyd's fault. Like he would have knocked Pacquiao out. If Pacquiao would have fought Floyd like he fights everybody else, Pacquiao would have got knocked out. Because Pacquiao is susceptible to the counterpunch. The reason why Pacquiao didn't get knocked out is because he didn't pursue Floyd like he wanted to. Everybody said Floyd ran, but Pacquiao didn't put on the pursuit that he was supposed to put on. He didn't get knocked out. Canelo could have got knocked out too. Okay? Cotto didn't get knocked out was a surprise because Cotto was beat up. I don't understand why that man didn't go down. Cotto should have been knocked out for sure.
Pause on your soliloquy for a second, because Floyd did fight Pacquiao after he was already kind of washed out of his prime. So stop it. Floyd did what Jake Paul has been doing his entire 11-1 boxing career on Mayweather,
Man,
on what's the name? And let's get to that shit now. Yo, Tyson looked every bit of 58. As I said, Tyson looked every bit of 58 and a half years old in that ring.
Well,
and the fucked up part leading into that, right, is watching all these discussions about Mike. Like, I didn't really have no either way about this shit. Did I want to see Mike win? Yes. Just because this is one of the Paul brothers. I want to see the Paul brothers get dropped. But like Tyrone said, let's keep it real. Did we truly think? No. It was and the way everybody was.
A lot of people thought that Tyson was going to win that fight.
Yeah, and you want to know why? Oh, this is the point that I was getting to. Is because when everybody was talking about Tyson's name and bringing Tyson up and what Tyson looked good in his training, looked great in his training, but everybody was recalling the 20 and 30-year-old Mike Tyson. The true baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson. They were looking for that to come back. And because you got to sell a fight, Tyson talked an amazing game. You're a manufactured killer. I'm a natural born killer. Shit like listen, their mouths sold them seats in that arena. They did what they're supposed to do, and they sold them damn tickets. Yeah, but nostalgia also is what I'm trying to get at. Is people was looking for that Iron Mike of old. The nigga's old. He will whoop our asses still. Yes, I will give that up. But he was old, and he was not ready for that. He was not built for that anymore. And every bit of that looked in his eyes. Yeah. Every bit of that. I don't know what y'all got at, but for me, it was clear as day that Mike is here because he committed to this shit. He agreed to it. And it was, that fight was so good. I went to bed at the 5th round. I was like, yeah, I can't do this no more. I don't want to see this fucking day. I was done. I was done.
I knew Mike was done as soon as the fight started. Because he was standing straight up. He didn't have no bend in his knees. He didn't have he was on his flat foot. He walked out flat-footed from the jump. And I said, Mike can't move. He cannot move. He had no bend in his knees. He was on the back of his heels. His legs looked terrible. As soon as he walked out, I said, look at his legs. His legs looked terrible. And I knew that he wasn't going to be able to move.
Even the commentators was bringing that up.
Yeah, his legs was bad, man. I said, Mike can't move.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and I know that if Jake's smart, Jake's not going to get inside on Mike. He's going to let Mike stay right where he at and tap on him. And that's exactly what happened.
I'm so glad I didn't bet on that fight, boy. Dude came out there with the knee brace. I was like, oh, what is going on, boy?
Well, you couldn't bet on that fight, really. They fucked the gambling up because Jake Paul was minus 250. So it wasn't even, you had to bet $250 to win 100 on Jake Paul. Yeah. And then Mike Tyson was plus 200, but who was going to bet on Tyson? You know what I mean? So it was like, it almost fucked the whole gambling up because the odds was ridiculous. The Vegas odds was ridiculous. So you couldn't even.
Niggas from the 80s was betting on Tyson for sure.
Right.
If
he had fucked up, if he had put hands on Jake like he was putting hands, like he was putting his mouth on him on his damn gloves, boy, Jake would have been in for a fight. I know that much. Because the way he was
Mike.
chewing on that glove, I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh, yeah.
But the real thing, the real takeaway from this though, it wasn't even that fight because I think majority of us really felt the way it was supposed to go. The real takeaway for me was WWE fans were all scared than a motherfucker because Raw is coming to Netflix in 2025. And they was just like, if this shit is happening during this fight, what's gonna happen to my beloved Raw? Is this shit gonna happen every night I watch Raw? And the one thing that they don't realize is no, it ain't gonna happen. Cause 60 million fucking people ain't tuning into Monday Night Raw. It ain't happening like that. So WWE fans, super fans, that is, because I'm a WWE fan, but the WWE super fans, your Monday Night Raw is going to be just fine because there are not 60 million people that are going to tune into Raw every week. You're going to be okay. This showed that Netflix needs to buy another building to set up some servers. They need to bolster their shit.
Word.
Then that fight didn't go how I thought it was going to go. I thought that I thought Paul was going to stay away. I thought Paul was going to get his shots in. I thought he was going to beat Mike up. I thought Mike was going to be exhausted later on in the fight. What I did not anticipate was Mike not fighting at all. That was ridiculous. I didn't think that. Like you said, in training, Mike looked like he still had some good lateral movement. He looked like he still had some good head movement. He looked like he would still be able to get some shots off. So for Mike to not get nothing off at all, I never thought that would happen.
Yeah, we
So
didn't see none of that
fight,
shit.
yeah, Mike didn't have no movement. He didn't even get nothing off. Even the punches that he thrown didn't look like he had much behind him.
But
So I
Tyrone,
don't know.
the point you missed though is Mike Tyson probably did get some shit off, but a majority of the world couldn't see it because the bitch froze. The connection froze so many fucking
No,
times, round after round. Shouts
no,
out
I
to my
saw the whole
people in the
thing.
clubhouse. I had to go to somebody's Discord. I had to go to a Discord to watch the stream because on the Discord it was running fine in spots that I was stuck on the TV. But then on the Discord, the shit was getting stuck on the Discord.
Right.
So I went back to the TV and then it's behind. I click live. Live goes back to the fucking looping circle of it trying to reload and reload and reload. So Mike very well probably
Yeah.
did get some shots in. I ain't see it.
I
Probably
guess I
40
got.
million people didn't see it because they was all
I
stuck
don't
on.
know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I must have got lucky, man. I must have got lucky, man. I didn't get
Yeah,
that.
you
All I
did.
got was like sometimes it would get blurry, and then it would come back in clear. But I didn't get the. I didn't
Yeah.
get the.
I
I didn't
got
have
I
to
got
wait.
that too when my daughter first because my daughters was trying to stay up to watch that fight too, which was funny. They didn't stay up, but they were trying to. They were
Mm-hmm.
trying to stay up because the Paul brothers, they're of that generation where the Paul brothers and all of them. That's their era of superstar,
That's
the late
crazy.
20-year-old. But they don't. I'm not
Even
saying
at
that
the
they like
end
them
too,
like
I
that, but
didn't.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't know. I don't know what
so
these dudes at all, yo. I knew them from fighting Nate Robinson and shit like that. I don't
I
know
knew
these
him
people
from
at all.
Vine. You had to be on. You had to be on Vine back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah. See,
oh,
yeah.
I had a question for you though, right? So I understand that at the end of the fight when it was almost over and Jake Paul was doing his whole, I'm gonna show respect to Mike, and he did his whole little bow to him and all this and all that, right? And for me, as a boxing enthusiast and a guy who likes boxing, I'm all like, protect yourself at all times. You know what I mean? And the fight wasn't over yet. And my other thing too was I know he was trying to give respect to Mike, but to put your hands behind your back in the middle of a ring with Mike Tyson on the other side with the fight not being over, I was just like, I don't know, read the room. That wasn't a good look for me. And I was just like, dude, that's crazy that he did that. And I was disappointed in that because I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, don't do that now. You know
I
what I
was in the
mean?
I was in the room. I was in the room with friends, and they was somebody did say like, "Yo, that's disrespect." Because I mean,
Yeah, that's what
still,
I thought too.
Yeah, it's still baddest man on the planet. It's still one of the greatest to ever do it. And I get it. I tried to get it. Him showing respect and bowing to him or whatever the case is, but it's still the baddest man on the planet, man. That's still Mike. You know.
Whatever. It
Well,
happened. It's finally over. It's just now that this whole again, Jake changing the game and them changing the game. Like again, I had to give props because to sell out Jerry World like that, yeah, did you do it off of Mike Tyson's name? Absolutely. But and the do it in your own way, in your own terms aspect of the whole event, like I get that too. Like I appreciate that aspect of it. But he wants to get taken seriously as a legit boxer, which the kid does train like a legit boxer. It's just he ain't the one time he fought a legit boxer who wasn't even that good, he lost.
hmm
Um,
He lost. He fought a washed up and Anderson Silva MMA fighter, lost to won and beat a washed up Tyrone Woodley former MMA fighter. Nate Diaz looked like Sandman, ECW Sandman in that ring. Like he shouldn't have been in there. He's a washed up fighter. Point is he didn't fight no boxers yet.
well, he's currently on a calling out Canelo tour. He's
Well,
called out
good luck.
Canelo. He called
Good
out
luck.
Canelo a bunch of times. So I mean, I don't know if this is a ploy to try to act like he wants to fight Canelo so that he can try to act like he's taking it seriously. But I mean, Jake Paul can pull some money in, and if Canelo agrees to that, we if he fights Canelo, we'll see the real deal. We'll see what he really got going on. But he's been we think he's fighting tomato cans because he is. We think he's duck. But if he's calling out Canelo right now, then that's some serious business right there.
but be clear,
If
Canelo shits the bed at that weight. Canelo is a tomato can at that weight. So, I mean, we'll
if
see.
Canelo answers, he's not worthy. He's not worthy enough for Canelo to answer. Now, I
Yeah,
did see the jokes for him and Javante Davis, who Tank is the little guy, but he'd tear him up too. He would tear up Tank. No, Tank would tear him up. Let me correct myself. Tank
yeah,
would tear him up because again, you're talking legit real boxer
yeah.
compared to somebody who's aspiring still to be legit boxer, but can draw.
But see,
This is where
that's
the sports entertainment aspect of the
I was
boxing
gonna
comes
say.
in.
That's the name of the game. Javante? We could say what we want about Tank. He is a good boxer. He's a very good boxer. You know what I'm saying? But Paul has the draw. You know, so we'll have to see, man. I mean, I don't see how you're gonna match the weight, but whatever. I've seen crazier shit happen.
Mm.
Hey, make it an unsanctioned, make it an unsanctioned fight.
Huh.
Shout
nah.
outs to Brian jumping in late. He said, "What's good, gentlemen?" As I always say, the Paul brothers figured out sports entertainment and they making bank. Jake honestly is amateur, but making championship money.
Yeah,
It's the American way. It's
yeah.
capitalism at its finest. And that's why I said I can't hate on that. I can't hate on that. It's fuck them forever what they did in the Japanese suicide forest, but they made their way. They've even brought black folks along with them. So that's another angle I can't
Man,
hate. You know what
Mike
I'm
brought
saying?
home 20 million for 16 minutes of nothing. Mike spent 15 minutes of walking around and got $20 million, boy.
Word got 20 million for it.
Take it.
Uh-huh.
More money to the weed crops and his falcons.
Word.
Oh shit. But yeah, man. Netflix. This the message to Netflix. Don't worry, you're probably not gonna see big ass numbers like that again. Just get your servers up.
I don't know. Squid Games is right around the corner. I don't
Oh
know,
Yeah,
man.
man, yeah.
Squid Game. See, but again, Squid Game ain't gonna be live with 60
Yeah,
million people on the stream at the same time.
damn
Like,
shame.
This is that Netflix deal with WWE has pissed me off for only one reason and one reason only. Okay, so my dad. So for people who don't have cable television, my dad spent a lot of time just watching SmackDown because it was on Fox, and that was the only wrestling he could get. He couldn't watch Raw, and now Raw moves to Netflix, and and now they take Fox and they take SmackDown, they move it to USA, and now my dad can't watch wrestling at all. Now, I mean, so I told him, I said, just get a little Netflix account, but he's been watching SmackDown the whole time.
Give him
So
your
now,
password. Pay for the one person outside, and hey, Dad, this is how you work Netflix.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna get my Netflix, but now he not.
Or get him TBS and let him watch wrestling.
I mean, he can't. I'm just saying he can't watch
Let him
SmackDown.
watch wrestling, then
Like
he
the
could
thing,
get the sports entertaining later.
I'm saying for the
Or just pay the
WWE,
bill.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying for the WWE to have 3 shows, for them to not have him be able to watch SmackDown is like, I don't know. I
Nah,
just think
what's
about
it?
it.
Well, you still got NXT on the CW.
Yeah, but
You
my
know,
dad ain't. NXT to him is like,
I get
he's
it. They're not ready for primetime players.
yeah, right.
They're not. It's or in your words, it's not championship or bust.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh man, but this was good. This is a good show, man. Netflix, get your shit together. TikTok for questions coming. But I'll go first because I was late. I was last. I was the one with the fucked up worse. I mean, worse than the normal fucking connection shit. But
You was
damn
on
it.
your Netflix shit today, boy.
Oh, was I? Was I? My shit was saying, it was saying something like your 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 microphone is being used by another app. And so the first thing I swiped out everything that was running in the background. I come back, still no mic.
Well,
I refreshed, I closed out Safari, came back, still no mic. I went to the Google app, put the link in, said still no mic. I had to reset my phone when y'all started. And then I finally came back.
I don't feel bad. I had technical difficulties on my show, and you pointed it out. You said
That's
something about
true.
it. It's okay, so I don't feel bad for you. That's your karma.
I don't feel bad either. I'm just saying what happened.
You
I'm
pointed
just
my
telling
shit
y'all I
out.
don't feel bad either. Cause why? Because y'all kept the party going. So
We
Yeah.
peace to
did.
Ishtar, peace to Disabled Planets, peace to hooksrub.com. Use our code starting 20% off your order. Oh,
Yes, man. Yo, great show, man. I enjoyed this. You know, we all got to talk our shit. We all got to speak some truths. You know, that's what it's all about, man. Shout out to my other two starting 5 members, man. You know, the power forward and the center and the power forward ain't here. Shout out to the listeners, man. You know, y'all make us do what we want to do. And shout out to you guys, man. You know, so yeah, man. Look forward to next week. Tyrone, on to you.
Yeah, he said to send in the power forward because we all know Dan's the point guard. He runs the show, right? And I'm the shooting guard. So I'm gonna throw all the shots up I can throw up. So we got the right lineup going on right here.
the
Yeah,
two
good
shortest
show.
people are the centers and the power forwards.
Yeah, I'm throwing the shots up. I gotta be the shooting guard. I know I gotta know. I'm taking all the shots. I'm giving me the ball. And I ain't even good at it. I'm just gonna take them. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
we know, man. You talking about the Lakers championship and bust every year.
Oh man, come on, man. Y'all don't get it
Well,
because y'all
they
got
busted this year.
hey,
Pause.
y'all you
They
Knicks
busted.
fans, you Knicks fans live in mediocrity. So your joy is making the playoffs. Lakers fans don't live in that world. So
All
you
right, man.
know,
We'll see you at the West
you
Coast. We'll
first
see you at the
you
West Coast Finals,
you
man.
you Knicks a second rounder bust. That's what you guys are.
Wow. Like last year, right? When we beat y'all 76ers. I'm
He's
Yeah,
got
sorry.
to say he's giving us the title of the Sixers, but
right.
whatever.
But yeah, so it was a good show. I enjoyed it. Shout out to TJ and Jamal and Hooks, Rub and Spices and all that. And I'm looking forward to next week. Is we going to do the tier thing or no?
We should do one. approaching Thanksgiving, maybe we'll just do a whole tier ranking show. We'll just have some fun approaching the another holiday of death and murder and killing that this country
Oh, man.
celebrates.
If we do the tiers, man, we got to bring up the foods, man.
It's food and family celebration. That's what it's all
Yeah,
about.
mac and cheese deserve their shine, man.
Listen, man, I know about all the
Mm.
genocide, but man, look, that mac and cheese, man, I don't know.
Ryan said TJ versus Shaq. Wait, I'm trying to TJ versus Shaq.
Oh.
Oh shit.
But nah, see, and there's a debate maybe we will have next week because to me, there's macaroni and cheese, and then there's mac and cheese. Mac and cheese to me is the shit you make in a pot, throw the powder on. Macaroni and cheese is what you put in the oven.
Okay.
There's a difference to me. I don't call everything mac and cheese because mac and cheese just ain't mac and cheese.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Macaroni and cheese is time, it's crafting, it's putting love in your foot in it if you know how to make a good one. Mac and cheese is you can make that shit. It's like microwave. It's good when you really, really want some. It's there when you really, 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 really want some. But then you can make it like this.
Macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese is something that if you fuck up on Thanksgiving, you will never get allowed to make that shit again.
You fuck that. You fuck this macaroni and cheese on my Thanksgiving. You're not invited. You ain't not even coming next year.
Word. So yeah, we'll get that together. I know that there's one out there. So yeah, we'll do something like that. We'll do some other and shit. You know what we left out, but it's fine. Yesterday was the 20th anniversary of food.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to that some more tomorrow.
So maybe you know what? Maybe next week is food. The Thanksgiving edition.
Oh yeah, that'll work. Yup.
Good
idea.
And on that note, we out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Peace.